Hello and welcome to PE Academy. So in this video, we're going to be looking at the topic function of complex variable. All right. So now let's get started with the concept. Now, so if you have a function like this, let's say it's equals to f of z, and then which is u into brackets x comma y, then plus j, which is the imaginary part, is v x comma y. So from this now, so let's just analyze this. So where our u x comma y is the real part, and then our v x comma y is the imaginary part. Okay, so now with the knowledge of this, now let's go ahead and look at some examples. Okay, so now let's look at this example. So like I see, it says given that f of z is equals to z squared, identify the real and imaginary part. So now let's do this together. So this video is a continuation on our video series under complex numbers. So if you missed that part, I will encourage you to watch those previous video before this. Okay, so you can have a proper understanding of some of the things we are going to be doing right here. Okay, so now let's write back our equation. That means we are having f of z is equals to z squared. All right, and if you have been following our previous example, if you once you have this z like this, our z is x plus jy, so you can also have it as a plus j b. All right, so it all depends on you. Okay, so with that now we can now rewrite our f of z to be equals to x plus jy, which is the real and imaginary part, so square. All right, so now let's go ahead and expand this. So with that, we are going to be having x plus jy and x plus jy. Okay, so if you go ahead and expand what we are having here, let me start on a new line. So with that, if you use this x to multiply everything here, we are going to be having x squared plus jxy. Then we are going to use our jy to also multiply everything here. We're also going to be having plus jxy plus j square y square. All right, so now let's continue. So just to carry you along, so this will give us x squared plus 2j, or let me write it like this, plus j 2xy. So that's the addition of this right here. Okay, now on this side we are having this j square, and if you are following the previous examples or previous videos before this, you should be familiar with this, that when you are dealing with complex variable of complex number, when you have this imaginary side, which is the j part, is squared, so our j square is minus 1. Okay, so that means this part becomes minus 1 times y squared, so that will give us minus y squared. Okay, so we can rewrite this as x squared minus y squared plus j2xy. All right, so with this now, we can now go ahead and identify the real and the imaginary part. And don't forget, at the beginning of this video I said this is a representation of the real part and this is a representation of the imaginary part. Okay, so for this now, if we are to identify the real and imaginary parts, therefore our u x comma y, which is the real part, from we are going to pick it from here now, is going to be x squared minus y squared. This is the real part. So y for the imaginary part, okay, is the part that is having the j. That's one easy way to identify it. Okay, that's going to be 2xy. So you don't need to put the j because we've already, this alone has shown that we are talking about the imaginary part, so we don't need to include the j right here. Okay, so with that now, we've been able to solve the solution to that question. So now let's look at another example, which is example 2. All right, so it says if w is equals to our f of z and then is equals to what we have right here. So determine the value of u and v given that z is equals to 5 plus j2. So when I say determine the value of the u and v, so it's just same as asking us to determine the value of the real and the imaginary part. Okay, so in doing that, so the example is looking complex, but the solution is pretty much easy. All right, so from what we are given, we are told that our z is equals to 5 plus j2. All right, so if you should break this down, we already know that this is our x plus jy, right? All right, now let's look at our, from this initial equation itself, okay, this one right here, we can also separate them into the real and the imaginary part. All right, so that means our u, which is our real part, is x squared minus y, okay, and then our v, which is the imaginary part, is x raised to power 3 plus y squared. Okay, so what do you know? Again, you see that if you look at this part here, okay, that's the real part because there is no j there, okay, all right. And then if you look at this, this is the imaginary because we are saying j here. Now, another thing you need to take note is that you might come across some question that they might just have to rewrite it like this, that okay, maybe f of z is equals to let me just use maybe j3 plus 2. Okay, you can see that they've rearranged it, making the imaginary to come first before the real. So don't always assume that it's the first one that is always the real, while the next one will be the imaginary. You just need to understand the identifier for the real or the imaginary parts. Okay. All right. So with that, with this being said, now we already separate them into the real part and the imaginary part, and then from the values that we are given, that our z is equals to 5 plus j2, we can conclude that our x, so we say that at x is equals to 5, and then at y equals to 2. That means from what we have right here. Okay, so that means our u, which is our real part, is equals to x squared minus y, that equals to 5 squared plus, sorry, is minus, okay, not plus. That's 5 squared minus 2. So, and that's equals to 25 minus 2, which is equals to 23. And then y, our v, which is s cubed plus y squared, and that's going to be 5 times 5 times 5, that's 125 plus, so our y squared is 4. Okay, so is this plus or minus? Let me confirm. So that's plus y squared, and our y is 2, that would be 4, and that's going to be 129. All right, so with this now we've been able to determine the values of our u, and our u, we got that to be 23, and then our v, we got it to be 129. Okay, so it can be as simple as this, okay, but you just need to understand the concept of everything that we are doing here. Okay, so this is it on function of complex variable. I hope you find this video very helpful, and if you have any question or any doubt with what we've done, do let me know in the comment section. So thank you very much for watching, guys. My name is Prosper, and I'll see you all in the next part of this video. Bye for now.